I want to start this video off by saying this is for people who are obsessed with the meta and play by that rather than just getting characters you love. This is for people who play the gacha solely to get cards to fill their team slots and don't care about characters as long as they have the strongest team. I think any card can work for your team if you put in the work, and this is to help you better understand the card and put it in the right team for both you and that card. If you're watching this, I'm assuming you're already well versed in meta and gameplay, so I'm not going to explain basic gameplay stuff. If you're new and don't know mechanics yet, I have videos on that to fill in some gaps. Deuce is a defense unit. His max HP is 10,030 and his max attack is 2,959. Deuce has fantastic HP, it's above the all cards average and way above the average of all rare cards on their own. However, his attack suffers because of that and it's way below average compared to both of those categories. His attack is actually the 7th lowest in the game. His spell 1 is Leaf Shot and his spell 2 is Water Shot 2. Deuce's skills are Curse and Damage Cut. He doesn't start off with any of these skills. You have to get both of his spells to level 5 before he'll get them. On spell 1, he'll get a minor curse on foes for 2 turns. For spell 2, he's got a tiny damage cut to foe for 1 turn. His only buddy is Jade with a modest HP boost. So before I even get to building, I want to announce that unfortunately he has no vignette. I have no idea where else to say that, so I'm saying it here. And also before building, you'll have to make him permanent first. You'll need to earn 9 spade gems for that. And like I mentioned in my event guide video, I got this info from TwstSoku because either I lost my own notes or I never took them in the first place, which doesn't seem like me, but honestly, like, I don't know, man. They don't exist. They just don't exist. But anyways, you can find spade gems at 24, 71, 92, 95, 10-4, 13-1, 15-3, and 16-1. Some of the spots give more than 1 gem, just as a heads up apparently. I know it doesn't add up to 9, I really don't know what to tell you, this is just what Soku wrote on their website. So Deuce's power and vignette levels can be raised like normal cards, as well as uncapping. For uncapping, how many perfumes you need depends on how many copies of him you have. Each uncap will cost 10 R Awakening perfumes, so you could be using anywhere from 0 to 40 perfumes. I'm assuming you can also purchase copies in the event shop, but like, I personally don't do that, so I don't remember. And neither the wiki nor TwstSoku have the cards listed in the event shop, but like, event cards are always there, so I'm assuming they were, but I'm gonna be honest, I straight up don't remember. Outside of those areas of leveling, Deuce will need event-specific items for everything else. To groovy him, you'll need a groovy ticket. He'll also need to be level 20, and his vignette level's maxed out, even though he doesn't have a vignette, but like, okay. For spell levels, he'll need a total of 573 magic tickets. Lilia is a balanced card. His max HP is 7,938, and his max attack is 3,796. Lilia's HP is average for R cards, and although it's below, his attack is also pretty close to the R card average. Both of his stats are below average when looking at all cards, though. His spell 1 is Water Shot, and his spell 2 is Fire Shot 2. His skills are Power Drain and Damage Cut. He doesn't start off with either, kinda like Deuce. On spell 1 and level 5, he gains a minor Power Drain on foes for 1 turn. On spell 2, at level 5, he gets a tiny damage cut to foes for 1 turn. His buddy is Deuce, who gives him a modest HP boost. So building Lilia requires you make him permanent first. Well, I mean, you can build him without making him permanent first, but I would really recommend making him permanent first. You'll need 9 bat gems to make him permanent. You can find those at 4-5, 6-3, 8-2, 11-1, 11-3, 11-6, 13-4, 14-2, 14-3, and 16-3. Yes, that adds up to 10. No, I don't know why. I got that information from TwstSoku. That's how they wrote it, so I'm just translating. Maybe I was lazy reading. I don't know. My best guess is that you only get Lilia on 4-5 since that's when you get the card, but I straight up don't know. If you want to uncap him, you can, I assume, buy more copies of him and or use our Awakening perfumes. I kind of talked about it with Deuce, so if you skip that, basically, I don't remember what's in the event shop. Anyway, each uncap costs 10 perfumes, so depending on how many copies of Lilia you get, you can be using 0 to 40 perfumes. For groovying, he needs 1 groovy ticket from the event shop. Like other rares, he needs to be level 20 and have his vignette levels maxed before he can be groovied. For magic levels, he needs magic tickets. For maxing out both spells, he'll need 573 total tickets. His power and vignette levels can be built like normal, thankfully, although he has a furniture recipe instead of a story. All of the rare cards have furniture recipes and no vignettes, so just as a heads up. Jade is an attack unit. His max HP is 5,586, and his max attack is 4,961. Jade's HP is way below average when looking at all cards and just rare cards. His attack is above the R card average, but it's fairly close to the all cards average. It's still a little under, but it's closer to that than the R cards average. His spell 1 is Fire Shot, and his spell 2 is Sleet Shot 2. Jade has 2 skills, Damage Boost and Evasion Boost. On spell 1, at level 5, he gains a minor damage boost to caster for 1 turn. For spell 2, he gets a tiny evasion boost to caster for 1 turn at level 5. Yeah, you also gotta build him to get those skills. I hate it too, but this is what we're working with. His buddy is Lilia with a modest power boost. Before building Jade, you should make him permanent. The last thing you want to do is waste magic tickets on him, and then you don't even get to keep him. He needs Dorsal Fin Gems to be made permanent, and he'll need 9. You can find those on 5-7, 7-3, 9-1, 12-2, 12-4, 12-6, 14-6, 15-5, and 16-5 on the event map. Luckily, his power and vignette levels can be built normally. Although he doesn't have a vignette, he just has the Tsum furniture recipe, which I would like a story, but I guess at least we get a marketable plushie. To uncap him, you'll need to either purchase extra copies of him if they're available, or use our Awakening perfumes. You'll need 0 to 40 perfumes depending on how many copies you have of Jade. Each uncap costs 10, so for each extra copy you have, subtract 10. To groovy him, he'll need 1 groovy ticket. Other prerequisites are being level 20 and having his vignette levels maxed out. He doesn't have a vignette like I mentioned before, but he's got a little Tsum you can make. I don't think that's a plot twist, especially since I just said it like 3 seconds ago. Anyways, to raise both of his magic levels, he'll need magic tickets. In order to max out both spells, he needs a total of 573 tickets. So we have our first gotcha SR, Rook. He runs with Azul. He's an attack Flora Fire unit. His max HP is 7,042, and his max attack is 6,089. Rook's HP is far below average when looking at just SR cards and all cards together. His attack, however, is above average in both of those categories. His spell 1 is Forest Strike, and his spell 2 is Fire Shot 2. His skill is Damage Boost, and he's got it twice. Unlike the rares, he actually starts off having this skill, at least for spell 1. He starts off with a tiny damage boost to allies for 1 turn, and at level 5 it turns into a minor boost, and that's where it caps out. His spell 2 doesn't have anything from the get-go, which not a huge fan of. You have to get it all the way to level 10 for, drumroll please, a minor damage boost to caster for 1 turn. Yeah, not my favorite thing. His buddies are Riddle with a minor HP boost, and Azul with a modest power boost. Alright, so let's talk about building, starting with the basics. In order to groovy Rook, you'll need to get him to power level 30 and vignette level 2. Groovying doesn't use up any Thaumarks, but it will cost 3 Huntsman candy. As for uncapping, he'll need 0 to 40 SR Awakening perfumes. Each uncap costs 10 perfumes, so the more copies you pull, you'll be using 10 less perfume. Now we got spells. For spell 1, he'll need 276 Void Notebooks, 253 Void Textbooks, 31 Void Grimoires, and 145,100 Thaumarks. And that's to max it, by the way, I just realized I didn't mention. I did write that in my script, but this is to max them out to level 10. Spell 2 needs 276 Flora Notepads, 253 Flora Textbooks, 31 Flora Grimoires, and it'll cost, once again, 145,100 Thaumarks. In total, it's going to cost 290,200 Thaumarks. Azul is our first banner SSR. He's attack. His max HP is 10,648, and his max attack is 6,567. So when it comes to the all cards average, Azul's stats are above average, but when it comes to just SSRs, his max HP is below by quite a bit, but his attack is above average. The difference doesn't feel as drastic as the HP's differences though, I will say that. His spell 1 is Zero Ray, his spell 2 is Fire Shot 2 and later Flame Blast 2 after some building. His spell 3 is Water Shot 2. Azul has 3 skills, debuff removal, power drain, and damage boost. Right off the bat on spell 1 he starts off with a debuff removal for allies, very slay of him. At level 5 he gains a minor power drain on foes for 1 turn, but that's it for spell 1. For spell 3 he has a minor damage boost to caster for 1 turn at level 1, it's modest at level 5, and major at level 10. His duo magic partner is Rook, who gives him a modest HP boost. His other buddies are Trey and Ortho, both with a minor power boost. So let's talk about building. In order to groovy Azul, you'll need to get him to power level 40 and vignette level 3. Grooving doesn't use up any Thaumarks, but it will cost 5 octopus candy. As for uncapping, he'll need 0 to 12 SSR Awakening perfumes. Each uncap costs 3 perfumes, so the more copies you get, the less perfumes you'll be using. As for his spells, for spell 1, he'll need 351 Void Notebooks, 253 Void Textbooks, 111 Void Grimoires, and 318,000 Thaumarks. Spell 2 needs 351 Fire Notepads, 253 Textbooks, 111 Grimoires, and it'll also cost 318,000 Thaumarks. And finally, spell 3 needs 351 water notepads, 253 textbooks, 111 grimoires, and it'll cost 318,000 Thalmarks. In total, that's going to cost 954,000 Thalmarks, so almost 1,000,000 Thalmarks. I do think you can save a few items though by only building spell 1 to level 5 since it has nothing at level 10. If you only build spell 1 to level 5, you'll only need 51 void notepads, 33 textbooks, 4 grimoires, and 18,000 Thalmarks. However, I would take into consideration of whether saving is worth not having a maxed out spell to you. It's void, and void spells you need to be a little wary of. They don't have a disadvantage or advantage, so normally I would say build it, but to be honest, you should make the decision yourself of whether to max out his spell 1 and whether it would be worth it or not. I'm not pulling for him, so I can't give you my personal advice because I'm not going to be building him, because I'm not going to be pulling for him. I mean, I'm going to be pulling for Rook, but I'm not going to be going hard for Azul, you know? I should clarify, that's not for meta reasons or anything. I'm not really a meta player all that much. Azul's not one of my favorites, so he's not on the, I have to pull for him list, you know? That's why I'm not going for him. So let's talk about alternatives for Azul. My recommendations are Birthday Jacket Lilia, Dorm Idia, Labwear Jack, and Outdoor Wear Leona. Let's start off with Peepaw. He's our spell match option and has Azul spells in the same order. He also has Ortho as a buddy and damage boost. However, everything else is different. Lilia is defense and his other buddies and skills are different, but still, if you need Azul spells and perhaps Ortho as a buddy, Lilia would be a great alternative for you. Debuff removal is extremely rare, so Dorm Idia is one of your only options for that skill. He has debuff removal, power drain, Ortho as a buddy, and Fire Shot 2. Granted, Fire Shot 2 is Idia's spell 3 and Azul's spell 2, but still, he's not the worst alternative, but he definitely has some things that don't match Azul. So this Jack has Zero Ray and Fire Shot 2. That's kind of it, though. His buddies aren't shared, his skills aren't shared, his type is different. This Jack really is just if you need Azul spells and in that specific order. And finally, we have Outdoor Wear Leona. He has Fire Shot 2 and Power Drain. He's also got Avoid Spell 1. Yeah, he's like Jack where if you need those elements, this would be a decent budget option, especially since he was a freebie. So Azul's best use in my opinion is in fights where the enemy has a lot of debuffs. With his other skills though, he's not too specialized, so you could just put him into any team. Do be cautious about the Void Spell 1 though, but other than that, he's pretty solid. So on Kalim's banner, our SR is Ortho. He's a balance unit with a max HP of 9,064 and a max attack of 5,147. Ortho's HP is below average when looking at all cards together and then just SRs. His attack, however, is above the SR average and it's basically at the all cards average. That's 4,910.2, so he's just a teensy bit higher. His spell 1 is Zero Ray and his spell 2 is Sleep Shot 2. Ortho's skills are HP regeneration and power boost. On spell 1, he starts with a minor HP regeneration for 3 turns. At level 5, it changes to modest. Unfortunately, it doesn't grow from there. And for his spell 2, it's like Rook's where you have to get him to level 10 to have anything. And the anything is a minor power boost to caster for 1 turn. His buddies are Kalim with a modest power boost and Sebek with a minor HP boost. Alright, so building. In order to groovy Ortho, you need to get him to power level 30 and vignette level 2. Grooving doesn't use up any Thalmarks, but it'll cost 3 soul candy. As for uncapping, he'll need 0 to 40 SR Awakening perfumes. Each uncap costs 10 perfumes, so the more copies you pull, you'll be using 10 less perfume. Now we got spells. For spell 1, he'll need 276 Flora notepads, 253 textbooks, 31 grimoires, and 145,100 Thalmarks. Spell 2 needs 276 Fire notepads, 253 textbooks, 31 grimoires, and it'll cost, once again, 145,100 Thalmarks. In total, that's going to cost 290,200 Thalmarks. Kalim is a defense unit, his max HP is 16,265, and his max attack is 4,326. Kalim's HP is insane and massively above average when looking at the SSR average and all cards averages. It's actually the second highest HP in the game, right behind Pop Music Club T-shirt Lilia, but with the super great HP comes the not so great attack. His attack is below average in both categories, and not only that, he has the second lowest attack of all SSR cards. Compared to every card in the game, he doesn't even rank in the 50 lowest attack cards, so that's something at least. His spell 1 is Flame Blast, his spell 2 is Water Shot 2 and later Aqua Wave 2, his spell 3 is Void Shot 2. His skills are HP Restoration, Power Drain, and Damage Cut. On spell 1, he starts off with a minor HP Restoration, it caps out at that, unfortunately, but hey, healing! At level 5, he gains a minor Power Drain to foe for 1 turn. and that's all Spell 1 has to offer. Over on Spell 3, he starts off with a tiny damage cut to foes for 1 turn. At level 5 it's minor, and at level 10 it's modest. Kalim's duo magic partner is Ortho, who gives him a modest HP boost. His other buddies are Deuce and Jack with minor power boosts. In order to groovy Kalim, you'll need to get him to power level 40 and Vignette level 3. Grooving doesn't use any Thou marks, but it costs 5 headdress candy. As for uncapping, he'll need 0 to 12 SSR Awakening perfumes. Each uncap costs 3 perfumes, so the more copies you get, the less perfumes you'll be using. Now we got spells. For Spell 1, he'll need 351 Fire Notepads, 253 textbooks, 111 grimoires, and 318,000 Thou marks. Spell 2 needs 351 Water Notepads, 253 textbooks, 111 grimoires, and it costs the same as Spell 1. And finally, Spell 3 needs 351 Void Notepads, 253 textbooks, 111 grimoires, and 380,000 Thou marks. In total, it's gonna cost 954,000 Thou marks. I would love one day for just these amounts to be different and be like, surprise, bitch, but unfortunately, no, they're pretty uniform. It does make my job easier, though, not gonna lie. Okay, time for Kalim alts. My suggestions are Halloween Vil, Pop Music Club t-shirt Lilia, Halloween Ruggy, and Gallicator Jack. Let's start off strong with Vil. He's our spell match option, so he has the same spells as Kalim. He's also got Deuce as a buddy and damage cut. Vil does have healing, but it's HP regeneration. If you mostly want Kalim for those spells and healing, Vil is a solid option. So Lilia is my favorite option as a replacement for Kalim, and I'm gonna be open about my bias. But he and Kalim are both defense. They barely have a difference between their stats. They have Jack as a buddy, they have HP restoration, and they have damage cut. In my opinion, the biggest downside of Lilia is that he has all different spells. Like, yeah, they both have fire and water spells, but things are pretty jumbled up. But still, like, if you need an HP patter who has healing, Lilia is going to be the option for you. But also, not gonna lie, Vil is also solid, but Lilia is my favorite. Not gonna lie. Ruggy is defense, he has the same spell 1, water shot 2, and he's got Ortho as a buddy. He also has healing, but it's HP regeneration. I personally don't pay too much attention to the difference between HP restoration and HP regeneration, but if you do pay attention to that, and that's something that matters to you, they are technically different. Ruggy would still be my go-to for a budget healer with those elements, though. Just saying. And last, Jack. He has a fire spell 1, water shot 2, and a healing skill. Everything else is different. If you want those elements and a healer, Jack would be another great budget option for you, especially since he was a freebie, so hopefully you have him lying around. So Kalim's gonna do a few things for you. He's gonna be great HP padding, he's a solid healer, and he'll be good at weakening enemies. While I think he'd be the best going against fire enemies, honestly, if you have a fight where you're really struggling, Kalim would be great to bring along. But remember, if you do use him, you're gonna want some cards with high power just to balance out the fact he doesn't hit that hard. Thank you everyone for watching, and a very special thank you to my channel members and Twitch subs. Your support helps me to continue to make these videos. If you'd like early access to my videos, consider becoming a channel member. Patrons and Ko-fi members can get my scripts early before I record them. I livestream over on Twitch every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Thanks again, guys, and I'll see y'all later.